Hey guys, here to do another video for you. Do a little thing on the presidents of the Republic of Texas. So we've had the revolution, we won, and now we're going to run the state, or actually run the republic, run the country, not the state. State will come later, but later in this video, as a matter of fact. So we're going to go through this. So these are the years of the Republic of Texas, 1836 to 1845. Okay, that's kind of important to understand, just to know we were our own country for about 11 years, or 9 years, excuse me. So this is what it looked like. It was approximately 376,000 square miles. So all of this area that's in green, and then the stuff that's in white, is the Republic of Texas. Now, obviously today, this area has shrank quite a bit, 268,601 acres, or square miles. And most of this had to be given up whenever Texas became a state. And so we could pay off a lot of our debt. So we had to give part of that up. All right, so who were the presidents? All right, so that's what we're going to be looking at today, is who were the presidents of the republic. So our first actual president was never elected, but this is David Burnett. He was, or Burnett, whichever one you want to call it. He served as the temporary president, the interim president during the Revolution. That's because they didn't want to have any votes going on and any elections while there was a revolution. So they just went with a guy that they appointed. And so that was David Burnett. But here's the first elected president, and that's Sam Houston. 1836 to 1838 is when he served. We only had, in our Constitution that we wrote for the Republic, we only had 2-year terms, and you could not serve consecutively. So you could not serve 2 terms in a row. So he was elected for a 2-year term, served out his 2-year term. Okay, at the beginning of his deal, at the beginning of his presidency, the debt was around $1.25 to $2 million. So we owed quite a bit of money. So Sam Houston was one that really wanted to get rid of that debt and get our state on our country on a good footing. So in order to try to cut down on that debt, he did things like dismissing the army. He told the army to go home, go back to your life. We don't need you anymore. This is good. We're all good now. And because you don't have to pay them. And that was the best reason for them to go. He also put tariffs. Hopefully you know what a tariff is. If you don't, I'm going to tell you right now. It's a tax on imports. And so anything that comes into the country will be taxed into the republic. And this is a way to raise money. All right. He also established a group called the Texas Rangers. This was a group that was made to work mainly in the western part of the state to help in the frontier protect the settlers. All right, kind of as a defensive force, he called them. And so the Texas Rangers, who are still a group today, one of the most famous law enforcement groups in the world, are the Texas Rangers, and Sam Houston established those. Now, one of the characteristics that you need to know about Sam Houston is that he wanted Texas annexation. He wanted to be annexed by by the United States, and make Texas a state. He did not want to remain a republic forever. But his time ran out, so he could not run for re-election. So he was done. He also, while he was president, chose Houston for the republic's capital. I don't know, why would he choose Houston? Maybe because that was his name? I don't know. But wasn't a good idea anyway. So that's going to change, as we all know later. All right. Here is the corner of Main Street and Texas Avenue in Houston, and that was his house. All right, so let's talk about some events that occurred during this during his presidency. So, first thing is you have this thing called the Cordoba Rebellion, and this occurred in the summer of 1838. And Nacogdoches in Far East Texas had a large population of Tejanos. So remember what Tejanos were. Tejanos were Mexicans that were loyal to Texas. And so the problem is that many Anglos moved to East Texas after the Revolution. All right, and so that's where there's going to be an issue. So Vicente Cordova was one of those Tejanos that was loyal to Mexico. He formed an alliance with the Cherokee Indians to rebel against Texas. Sam Houston tried to calm the situation, calls in the Texas Army that were still remaining and the Texas Rangers to stop the rebellion. Okay, but what this did is it pretty much squashed the rebellion pretty quickly. It didn't last very long. But the problem is it did leave a major impact on society, on Texans, because it brought this feeling of distrust of the Tejanos and the Indians in Texas. All right, so that was a big impact that the Cordoba Rebellion had. So the next election had three candidates: Peter Grayson, James Collingworth, and Mirabeau B. Lamar. All right. The problem is these guys didn't last, two of them didn't last until the election. They both died. Peter Grayson committed suicide. James Collingsworth got drunk and drowned in Galveston Bay after a night of partying. So basically there was nobody left. So Mirabeau B. Lamar won the election. If that would have happened in today's society, with all that's going on in today's political world, you would have thought that Mirabeau B. Lamar killed him himself, but obviously we know that's not the case. So Mirabeau B. Lamar was president from 1838 to 1841. He was the second elected president, obviously. But he was almost the polar opposite of Sam Houston. Sam Houston and Mirabeau B. Lamar did not agree on pretty much anything. And one of the things that they disagreed upon was he didn't want Texas to be annexed. He wanted Texas to remain a republic. He also didn't care about the debt. He increased the debt in Texas from $3.3 million to $8 million. I mean, that is a lot in 2 years. One of the things that he did, maybe that's more positive, is he is considered the father of Texas education, because he established the public education system in Texas. The idea of having schools and having colleges and universities and those kind of things was his idea, and he made that happen. And he also changed the site of the Capitol, and he moved it to Austin. Really don't know why. I think that was just a preference that he had. So once again, very much different than Sam Houston. Sam Houston loved the Indians. You know, he lived with the Indians for many years after he got divorced from his wife. But Lamar was totally against it. He did not like or trust the Indians at all. After the Cordoba Rebellion, Lamar wanted the Cherokees out of Texas, but the Cherokees refused to leave. And he was all about trying to get them out, and really trying to get all Indians out of Texas. So he sent soldiers to make them leave. He killed those soldiers killed about 100 Indians, including Sam Houston's friend Chief Bowles that we've talked about before. And so this doesn't sit very well with Sam Houston. Now, the next thing that we have is the Council House fight. Now, this was an event that was kind of a weird deal. Let me see if I can get this thing to move. There we go. March 19th, 1840. But this was a weird deal. The Comanche were infamous for taking prisoners, especially women and girls, young girls. They would take them and keep them as their prisoners, and were not very nice to them. Very, very bad conditions. There's stories of the girls their faces being burned, their ears being burned off, their noses being burned off. They were kind of used as playthings by the Comanche, and so it was not very good for them. But Lamar tried to get the Comanche to release all of their captives, and so they went to this place in San Antonio called the Council House, and they were supposed to have a meeting where they were going to trade all the captives. And so they returned a girl, Matilda Lockhart. She's very famous in Texas history. And she was all messed up, like I said. She had ears were gone, nose was gone. It was pretty bad. Matilda told the people that there were a lot more captives. It wasn't just her. And so whenever the Comanche agreed to release all Anglo captives and they only brought one, that was not good. So the Texans attempted to hold the Comanche leaders hostage until they brought all the captives. Well, you can imagine this going on in a small building. And so fighting starts. 7 Texans are killed and 35 Comanche are killed. And so this didn't go very well. And after the fight, the Comanche killed many of their captives and continue to raid Anglo settlements and continue to take more captives. And so this was definitely not a good policy decision, and we definitely didn't get a very good result out of it. Now, the Texas Navy. All right, we kind of briefly talked about the Texas Navy, but Lamar, after the war was over, the Texas Navy was kind of put on the side burner. So Lamar wanted to have a Navy, a strong Navy, so he funded it, which means that he gave them a lot more money. Edwin Moore commanded the entire Texas Navy. He was the Commodore. Edwin Moore, that's an important name to remember. You will see him again on a test especially. Hint, hint. But he was responsible for controlling the Gulf of Mexico for Texas, and he was very good at it. But it was very, very expensive. And whenever Sam Houston becomes president in his second term, he tries to get rid of the Texas Navy because he just felt that it was way too costly and causing too much debt. This is not a president, but this is an important guy in Texas history, Jose Antonio Navarro. He was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. He worked for in Congress and worked for Tejano rights. He served as San Antonio's representative in Texas Congress, and he was one of the ones that wanted Texas to be annexed. And so He's going to play a major role in Texas government as we go forward.